all the challenges of life and keep the flame of your love and light burning in their hearts. Give us the strength to overcome our ego, a state of faith above, reason to be full of great gratitude for everything that you send our way. Thank you for helping us to be in a permanent prayer for love and connection, and may we adhere as one with you and bring you contentment. Shalom. Hello, we are reading writings of On My Bed at Night. You can find a study material on Catholic group info, and in the art system you can also send questions live through these websites. Anyone asking a question in the study hall is asked to stand up, hold the mic close to his mouth and speak loud and clearly. On My Bed at Night asks about the verse on my bed. Rabbi Elazar started, on my bed at night I sought him, whom my soul loves. He asks, it says on my bed. It should have said in my bed. What is on my bed? He answers, the assembly of Israel spoke before the Creator and asked him about the exile, since she's seated among the rest of the nations with her children and lies in the dust because she is lying in another land and impure one. She said, I ask on my bed, for I am lying in exile, and exile is called nights. Hence I sought him whom my soul loves to deliver me from it. It is known that the assembly of Israel is who contains all the souls. It is also known that every man is considered a small world, as it is written in the Holy Isaiah, that man consists of the 70 nations of the world. This corresponds to the 7 for each consists of 10 There are 70 discernments, their opposite of holiness. There are 7 sp of holiness, and the 70 nations of which man consists. This means that each nation has a special lust that pertains to it. Man consists of 70 lusts that exist in general in the 70 nations. Within man there is also Israel, which is his self. However, it is called a point in the heart, meaning a point of darkness. This means that the Israel in her does not illuminate, and she's regarded as a rocket. She's in exile under the rule of the 70 nations. In a person they have the strength to rule over the Israel and her by questions they ask Israel when he wants to do something for the Creator, which is called straight to the Creator, as at that time they make one understand that it is not worthwhile to work, but only for self-love. But concerning in order to bestow they ask, what is this work for you, which we learned is the question of the wicked. And if one wants to overcome his argument, then Pharaoh's question comes, who says, who is the Lord? I should obey his voice. If these questions do not work on a person the first time, they repeat themselves all day long, as it is written, with the murder of my bones my ages, my adversaries revile me, while they say to me all day long, where is your God? And one cannot come out of their rule. They degrade the Israelite men to the dust. Written, for a soul has bowed down to the dust. Our belly only clings to the ground. We should interpret that our souls bowing down to the dust causes our belly to be attached to the ground. The belly is one vessel of reception. This is the meaning of the point in the heart being in the dust, which causes our vessels to have adhesion with worldliness, which is self. But if the kingdom of heaven were on earth, then we would certainly be honored. If we had the chance to serve the Creator with anything, we would regard even the smallest service as a fortune. Such an honor it would be worthwhile to relinquish all the pleasures that come to us through self-love. This is the meaning of what we say in the supplementary prayer of the 3 pilgrimages. Our Father, our King, show the glory of your kingship upon us. Soon that is we ask the Creator that, since the kingdom of heaven is degraded, and in a state of divinity in the dust, we want the Creator to show us the importance and glory of the kingdom of heaven, and then it will be our great honor to be awarded with it by exiting self-love and to be granted with love of the Creator. This is the meaning of what the interprets. Hence I sought him whom my soul loves to deliver me from it. It is known that men consists of three souls: soul of holiness, to a soul of the three, soul of the three impure kipit, plural of the soul of holiness, illuminates only as a point. Therefore the soul of Noa should connect to the soul of holiness, as we explained in previous articles, in the name of Al. But since the main operator is the soul of, since the soul of the three impure shells cannot be corrected, and the soul of does not need to be corrected because it is holy, and all the work is with the soul of when one performs good deeds or corrections. The joins the holiness when he commits transgressions. The soul of Kip of Noa joins the soul of the three impure, for he is, for he needs. The soul of holiness is in loneliness. The soul of no things that the three impure cot want. It follows that at that time when the soul of holiness must suffer the rule of the impure kipit that govern, at that time the soul of holiness asks to be delivered from the exile called nights. It is written there in the Zib. Says we learned that the Creator sentences whether a drop is male or female. A woman who inseminates first delivers male, thus the Creator's sentence is redundant. Robbie said, indeed the Creator decides between a drop of male and a drop of female, and because he has discerned it, he sentences whether it is to be a male or a female, and this explanation is unclear. Because he has discerned it, he sentences whether it is to be male. Why does he need to sentence it? It will obviously be either male or female. He interprets therein that there are three partners in a man: the Creator, his father and his mother. His father gives the white in him, his mother the red in him, and the Creator gives the soul. If the drop is a male, the Creator gives the soul of a male. It is female, the Creator gives the soul of a female. It turns out that when the woman inseminates first, the drop has not become a male. Yet if the Creator, this discernment that the Creator discerns in a drop that it is fit for a soul of a male or a female, is considered the sentencing of the Creator. Had he not discerned it and did not send the soul of a male, the drop would not have become a male. Thus the two statements do not contradict one another. Understand all the above in the work. We should interpret that all three partners are in one person. His father and mother are the causes of the birth of a son. His father is the male called man. Addis. Male is regarded as Hess. His father gives the white because white is called wholeness where there is no dirt. His mother is called female, and woman, she's called a deficiency, since any or whole means deficiency, a lack, and is called redness. It is as we say that when there is red light you cannot cross, which is called a berry, you can't go forward. The Creator gives the soul, since man can do anything but the spirit of life belongs to the Creator. The order of the work is that man should divide the work day into day and night. Day means wholeness and the night means deficiency. In order for a son to be born and have a long life, that son needs to be born by his father and mother, since his father gives the whiteness, meaning the wholeness regarded as a whole man, and his mother gives him the lack called sorry, regarded as a male man, and his mother gives him the lack called a female woman. The Wholeness and deficiency should be because a person needs to receive nourishment for sustenance, and then he can work. Likewise here in the work of the Creator, a person must receive spiritual nourishment, and then he can see what needs to be corrected. Without nourishment it does not have the strength for work, and we receive nourishment only from wholeness. Therefore we can elicit wholeness while engaging in, for then we do not examine how much we are exerting in keeping, and to do them perfect and flawlessly, meaning examining ourselves to see if we are fine or not. Rather at that time we examine the Torah and MIT themselves, meaning who and are we. Heaping, we must think about the giver of the Torah as we. Blessed are you, the Lord giver of the Torah, the we say, who has ified us with his commandments, meaning to know that we are keeping the MIT, the commandments of the Creator. Therefore we need to consider the importance of the giver and derive from this vitality and joy from meriting, observing what he has commanded us to some extent. Time we should say that although the work is still not actual, observing in order to bestow in every way, we should still believe that there are people to whom it did not occur in mind or will to keep the even in the slightest bit, but to us the Creator has given a desire and will to keep a little, meaning with little understanding. But after all we are doing something while people do not even have that something. When we pay attention to this we receive vitality and nourishment. This is called his Father gives the white, as we said that wholeness is called whiteness. Where there is no dirt there is a twofold gain. Here one in this way he receives elation from being adhered to the whole, meaning to the Creator, and we must believe that what he gives is wholeness. Hess makes a man whole, making him feel whole. Too naturally he derives nourishment from this, so he can live and persist, and then have strength to do the holy work. To according to the importance he acquires during the work of holiness of wholeness, he will later have room feel the deficiency with regard to his work which is not truly pure. That is, at that time he can compare between the importance. He can depict to himself how much he's losing by his negligence in the work, for he can compare between importance of the Creator and his own loneliness, and this will give him energy to work. However, one should also correct oneself, or he will remain in the dark and will not see the true light that shines on the vessel that are suitable for this, called vessels of bestow. The correction of the vessels is called nuka deficiency. When he works on correcting his deficiencies, this is regarded as his mother gives the red. That is, at that time he sees the red light, which are the barriers on his way which prevent him from reaching the goal. Then comes the time of prayer, since the man sees the measures of the work that he has in matters of mind and heart, and how he has not progressed in the work of bestow. He also sees how his body is weak, that he does not have great powers to be able to overcome his nature. For this reason it sees that if the Creator does not help him, he's lost. As it is written, if the Lord does not build a house, they who build it labor in vain. From those two remaining from wholeness and the efficiency, which are the father and mother, it turns out that the Creator is the one who helps him, giving him a soul which is the spirit of life, and then the newborn is born. And this is why our sage just said there are three partners in men. The newborn that was born is regarded as a sustainable descendant, meaning that he has a long life. Otherwise, if it does not have the soul that the Creator gives, that newborn is called a stillborn. meaning it is unsustainable and falls. From its degree we should know that the Creator wants to give as explained in several places that the upper light does not stop illuminating, but we need vessels that are fit to receive. Therefore there are two discernments we need to make in what depends on one's preparation, since there are two forces in men: forces of reception, two forces of bestow. We need to correct these two forces so they work in order to bestow. The force of bestow in a person is called men, and the force of reception in a person is called woman. Female disseminating means that a person makes an effort in order to obtain something. For example, when a person needs wheat, wheat, this means that his work will yield. If one needs to potatoes, he will sow potatoes. That is, one exerts according to the kind that one wants, and this is what he gets. It is similar in the work of the Creator. If one wants to correct the vessels of called male men, which is called if the man in seat is first, meaning that his initial thought is to correct the vessels of bestow, then she delivers a female, as it is known that there is an inverse relation between vessels and lights, since female light is called smallness. If the woman inseminate is first, meaning that he wants to correct the vessels of reception so they work in order to bestow, then she delivers a son, meaning male light, which is the light of greatness, and the Creator gives the soul. The Creator distinguishes about the drop, meaning about man's world, man's work, of which type was his sowing, meaning preparation, that is, if he wants his vessels of reception to work in order to bestow, the Creator gives him a soul of a male, called of gut, the soul of gut of greatness, if he is regarded as a man, meaning he wants only his vessels of bestow to work in order to bestow. He receives from the Creator in the light of K, called female. Shoot questions again. Yes, the light of small is considered a female if it's a deficiency. How come? There's a filling of hey. Again we say that female is a deficiency. Yes, on the other hand they say it's smallness. It's a light of smallness. It's a feeling in order to bestow. It depends on who towards what do we measure. So is it the deficiency or filling we're talking about? Vessels, there is a vessel of male and there's a vessel of female. If they demand or not, or don't demand fulfillment, it also depends what kind of fulfillment. Accordingly, we discern it depends on what a person raises in his prayer. That's it. Okay. What are we doing next? Can Isa MOS 6 mosque 6 Womink, what kind of barriers stand before us, preventing us from reaching the goal? Only our ego. Only our ego doesn't allow us to advance. Question: on what condition the Creator reveals to us his greatness and the greatness of the upper? I'll say it again. Under what conditions the Creator reveals to us the importance of the upper, that we surrender, that we want its control. All right. Unity. 4. Speed. The Creator awakens that in man. Yeah. Correct. 1. Good morning, raw friends. What is a drop? A drop is the minimal space within the person that can be in order to bestow. Can this true be either in or in reception, either male or female? Yes, and that's a choice of the drop. Is there a connection to the Creator? The Creator, to begin with, exists in everything because he sees that if the drop shows bestow male or reception female, then he gives the appropriate. So it sounds like it exists in the choice from the jet to sow. What does he add to it? What is the male there or the female there, and what does the Creator add? They thought it's Important what a person chooses, what a person is choosing, then the creator completes his choice from above. Yes, I got it. Thank beloved, we have a few questions in. There are two forces in a person, the force of reception and force of bestow. These two forces have to be corrected. The question is, why do we need to correct the force of bestow if it's a force that's already bestowing? We are not yet using it. To use the force of bestow correctly is a correction. As well can we think that our intention defines our work if it will be reception or bestow. Of course, what deeds are considered insemination or seeding in the work that we want to use a desire that was first broken and we want to transition it to holiness. How can I tell if the desire was corrupt? How can I tell based on your preparation? According to your preparation. Hello street, those who build. I guess the builders are those who want to see a complete CLE all. Right, it's not entirely clear in the inner work. Who are those builders? What actions are they doing? Connection. Here a person chooses either the discernment of female or male. Isn't the order such that the female is first and then from her the second sermon develops? We're talking about what a person chooses. Can a person choose the discernment of male before choosing female? First, man chooses what he thinks he should choose, and accordingly he advances either on the left or on the right. Turkey 8. Turkey 8. Good morning. Good morning. Can wholeness and deficiency exist at the same time? No, because we're talking about man's feeling, and according to man's feeling that can't be both this and that. Well, how can person balance the quality of Israel and the quality of the nations of the world inside him when he comes to wholeness with his CLE? He then feels that the whole world is included in him, and then he can understand what is the state the world is in. Women Ukraine 2. Hello, it is said in the last few paragraphs that man is the thought and the woman is the desire. What does it mean? Practice in are tested. First thought and the desire. How to come to a woman inseminatis? First, the gender differences are irrelevant. Here I understand I'm speaking about it from the internality perspective. It says that male, the man, is the thought, and the female, the woman, comes from within the desire. When the woman inseminates first, understand this is the quality. We can somehow come to this to give birth from within the desire. How to do it? If you continue to work seriously, then gradually you turn from a woman to a man, not physically of course, but in terms of your longing, your desires. Hello world 10. Here it speaks of wholeness. It speaks of the correction we should do. Everything depicted here in the article is about this world in and smallness, not about the universe. What is the universe? We learned yesterday, the day before, on the topic of a whole and the space which relates to the universe as well. Everything that revolves around the planet we in question is the end of correction in on the earth and smallness, or it speaks about the entire universe. The entire universe. Thank you. Shall why is this the soul of holiness in posterior, and does not shine because it is still a very small CLE that doesn't have sufficient strength to receive some illumination from the Creator in order to bestow and shine, and therefore it is considered being in darkness in posterior, and that's how it begins. Mark 6. Okay. Ma, good morning. Friends, when the male inseminates first, is that a state of delighted in mercy? And that's when the soul of holiness comes out of exile, and then we begin the correction of the shell of Noga, and then we say that the woman inseminatis, let's say so, Kinya Aki It says that we have to believe that there are people in whom there's no thought to keep the Torah and commandments even in the smallest way, and the Creator gave us this desire and this yearning to keep the commandments, and when we pay attention to it we receive nourishment and force of livelihood. The question is when we decide that we did merit it, and we were awarded, of course we experienced joy, but why did he give this advice here that we need to rejoice from the fact that others did not merit and we did know there's no such thing, so I have to understand what this is. Right. Writing Reddit. Again right, so we need to believe that there are who have no desire, no thought to keep the even the smallest possible way. Creator gave us a desire and a thought to keep it even a little. This is the most important part of what you read, that the Creator did give us that, and we're happy about that. You can say it's egoistic because he awakened us and not someone else. I can't explain it differently. Here in any case it turns out that there are people who got it and people who didn't, and it depends on the Creator. Therefore we should be happy in receiving a push towards spiritual development. He says here that the Father gives the whiteness, the wholeness. Person feels the confidence that he can work on everything, and then comes the side of the Mother who gives the redness, the deficiency. These two things beget a prayer, so the Creator will give him a soul they connect correctly to in order to support each other and be a men, women, and among them by that we are in a single CLE, and then the Creator to rejoice gives us a blessing for our development. What does it mean in the work? Yes, let's say we can understand what wholeness is. He also describes it. Yes, a deficiency says a person sees his own deficiencies, his own female he's not in. Yes, so there's two sides, the wholeness of the Creator and the deficiency of a man. Yes, what do I give birth to? How? From here we get a request. What from here? The result of it. A soul, meaning a will to receive that at first is awakened by the Creator, and it takes on qualities in order to bestow and begins to develop. It has that tendency, mean the wholeness that the Father gives, and the deficiency the Mother gives is not in order to bestow. Yet they have to work together so as they connect and begin to work together towards a state where they are both in order to bestow. This gives birth to the embryo, so the embryo is already the quality of bestow. Yes, shared quality, and what is the Creator who gives it? That's the Spirit, that if they connect correctly, through their connection the Creator brings the Spirit and the soul before why is when the Father receives wholeness. It's called Father I'm sorry. When Father gives him wholeness, you can say I received wholeness. I feel Hess, there is Hess, but he feels that he received it from on the right side, which is the Father. Yes, and when he receives his deficiency he feels that this is from the Mother. Yes, and when he receives the quality of bestow, then he says he receives it from the Creator. Yes, you can read again. This is very important on my bed at night, meaning that we go through a period called night before birth, and it all depends on our connection, which we choose and make the effort to advance. So if you want, let's read it again, as long as it's not a being disregarded but done with importance towards the article, because I have a feeling that not everyone heard, or they just heard a bit from here and a bit from there, but not the wholeness of these terms. Let's go on my bed at night. Asks about the verse on my bed. Started on my bed at night I sought him, with whom my soul loves. He asked. It says on my bed, it should have said in my bed. What is on my bed? He Answers the assembly of Israel spoke before the Creator and asked him about the exile, since she is seated among the rest of the nations with her children and lies in the D, and because she is lying in another land, an impure one, she said, I ask on my bed, for I lying in exile, and exile is called night. Hence I sought him whom my soul loves to deliver me from it. Mean the state itself is clear. A person feels that he's in order to receive, he cannot come out of it with his own strength, and only the Creator can correct that state. Next, it is known that the assembly of Israel is who contains all the souls. It is also known that every man is considered a small world, as it is written in the Holy, so that man consists of the 70 nations of the world. It is also as it is written in the Holy. This corresponds to the 7 sp, where each consists of 10, thus there are 70. Discernment. They are the opposite of, for there are 7 of and the s nations, of which man consists, meaning 70 nations of the world. 70 discernments of holiness, 70 discernments of impurity, and the person is in between them. This means that each nation has a special lust that pertains to it. Man consists of all 70 lusts that exist in general in the 70 nations. Within man there is also Israel, which is his. However, it is called a point in the heart, meaning a point of darkness, means that the Israel in her does not, and she's regarded as a posterior. The reason is that she is in exile under the rule of the 7 nations. In a person may have the strength to rule over the Israel in her by questions that they ask Israel when he wants to do something for the Creator. Called straight to the Creator at that time, they make one understand that it's not worthwhile to work, but only for self-love concerning. In order to street, they ask, what is this work for? You, we learned, is the question of the wicked, and if one wants to overcome the his argument, then Pharaoh's question comes, who said, who is the Lord that I should obey his voice? Questions do not work on a person. The first time they repeat themselves all day, as it is written, the murder of my bones, my adversaries revile me, while they say to me all day long, where is your God? And one cannot come out of their rule. They degrade the Israel in man to the dust, as it is written, for our soul has bowed down to the dust, our belly clings to the ground. We should interpret that our souls bowing down to the dust causes our belly to be attached to the ground. B is one's vessels of reception. This is the meaning of the point in the heart being in the dust, which causes are to have C with only with worldliness, which is self-love. But if the kingdom of heaven were honored, then we would certainly be honored if we had the chance to serve the Creator with anything. We would regard even the smallest service as a fortune. Such an honor, it would be worthwhile to relinquish all the pleasures that come to us through self-love. This is the meaning of what we say in the supplementary prayer of the 3 images. Our Father, our King, show the glory of your kingship upon us. Soon that is we ask of the Creator, that since the kingdom heaven is degraded in a state of the dust, we want the Creator to show us the importance and glory of the kingdom of heaven, and then it will be our great honor to be awarded by it with exiting self-love, to be granted with love of the Creator. This is the meaning of what the interprets. Hence I sought him whom I love, whom my soul loves to deliver me from it. It is known that man consists of 3 souls, a soul of 2, of soul of the 3 impure spot. Soul of illuminates only as a point. The soul of should connect the soul of as we explained in previous articles in the name of be, but since the main operator is the soul of Kipit, Nuga the soul of the three impure, Sipit cannot be corrected, and the soul of does not need to be corrected because it is holy. Then all the work is with the soul of Kipit. Noa when one performs joins the when he commits transgressions, soul of Kot Noa joins the soul of the three impure Klipit. The soul of is in meaning it does not illuminate and is in loneliness. This is why we do not want to exert to do good deeds so that will join the. Therefore on my bed at night I sought him whom my soul loves, to bring him out of her, for the soul of belongs to the assembly of Israel, but is in another impure land, asking from the one whom my soul loves to get me out of the impure land. That is the soul is in loneliness. The soul of Noa does things that the three impure Kot want. It follows that at that time when the soul Ofa must suffer the rule of the pure that govern at that time, soul of asks to be delivered from this exile called nights. It is written therein the says we learned that the Creator sentences whether a drop is male or female, and you say a woman who inseminates first delivers a male. The Creator's sentence is redundant, said indeed the Creator decides between a drop of male and a drop of female, and because he has discerned it, he sentences whether it is to be male to be a male or a female. This explanation is unclear. Because he has discerned it, he sentences whether it is to be a male. Why does it need to sentence it? Will obviously be either male or female. He interpreted therein that there are three partners in a man: the Creator, his father, and his mother. His father gives the white in him, his mother the red in him, and the Creator gives the soul. If the drop is a male, the Creator gives the soul of a male. If it is a female, the Creator gives the soul of a female. Turns out that when the woman inseminates first, the drop has not become a male, yet the Creator had not sent within her a soul of a male. This discernment that the Creator discerns in a drop that it is fit for a soul of a male or a female is considered the sentencing of the Creator. Had he not discerned it and did not send a male, a soul of a male, the drop would not have become a male. Thus the two statements do not contradict one another. To understand all the above in the work, we should interpret that all three partners are in one person. His father and his mother are the causes of the birth of a son. His father is the male called men and wholeness, because male is regarded as wholeness. His father gives the white, because white is called wholeness. Where there is no dirt, his mother is called female and woman, and she's called a deficiency, since whole means deficiency. Like it's called redness, it is as we say that when there is a red light you cannot cross, which is called a barrier. When you cannot go forward, Creator gives the soul. Since man can do anything but the spirit of life belongs to the Creator, the order of the work is that man should divide the work day into day and night. Day means wholeness and night means deficiency. In order for a son to be born and have a long life, that son needs to be born by his father and mother. His father gives the whiteness, meaning the wholeness regarded as a male man, and his mother gives him the lack called female woman. The wholeness and deficiency should be because when should be because a person needs to receive nourishment for sustenance, and then he can work. Likewise here in the work of the Creator, a person must receive spiritual nourishment, then he can see what needs to be corrected. Otherwise, without nourishment, He does not have the strength to work, and we receive nourishment only from wholeness. Therefore we can elicit wholeness while engaging into, for then we do not examine how much we are exerting in keeping to do them perfectly and flawlessly, meaning examining ourselves to see if we are fine or not. Rather at that time we examine themselves, meaning those, and we are keeping. We must think about the giver of the Torah as we blessed are you, the Lord giver of the Torah, with the we say who has sanctified with his, meaning to know that we are keeping the mitzvah of the Creator. Therefore we need to consider the importance of the giver and derive from this vitality and joy from meriting, observing what he has commanded us to some extent. At the time we should say that although the work is still not actual, observing, in other words, or in order to bestow in every way, we should still believe that there are people to whom it did not occur in mind or will to keep even in the slightest bit, but to us the Creator has given a desire and a will to keep a little, meaning with little understanding. But after all, we are doing something while people do not even have that something. When we pay attention to this, we receive vitality and nourishment. This is called his Father gives the wife. As we said, that wholeness is called whiteness. Where there is no dirt, there is a twofold gain here. One, in this way he receives elation from being adhered to the whole, meaning to the Creator, and we must believe that what he gives is wholeness. Hess makes a man whole, making him feel whole. Naturally he derives nourishment from this, so he can live and persist, and then have the strength to do the holy work according to the importance he acquires during the work of wholeness. He will later have room to feel the deficiency with regard to his work, which is not truly pure. That is, at that time he can depict to himself how much he is losing by his negligence in the work, for he can compare between the importance of the Creator and his own loneliness, and this will give him energy to work. However, one should also correct himself, or he will remain in the dark and will not see the true light that shines on the vessels that are suitable for it, called vessels of beast. The correction of the vessels is called NVAA, deficiency, since he works on correcting his deficiencies. This is regarded as his mother gives the red, that is, at that time he sees the red light, which are the barriers on his way, which prevent him from reaching the goal. Then comes the time of prayer, since man sees the measures of the work that he has in matters of mind and heart, and how he has not progressed in the work of bestow. He also sees how his body is weak, that he does not have great powers to be able to overcome his nature. For this reason he sees that if the Creator does not help him, he is lost. As it is written, if the Lord does not build the house, they whom build it labor in vain. From those two, meaning from wholeness and deficiency, which are father and mother, it turns out that the Creator is the one who helped him, giving him a soul, which is the spirit of life, and then the newborn is born. This is why our sages said there are three partners in man. The newborn that was born is regarded as a sustainable descent, meaning he has a long life. Otherwise, if it does not have the soul that the Creator gives it, that newborn is called a stillborn, meaning it is unsustainable and falls from its degree. We should know that the Creator wants to give, as explained in several places, that the upper light does not stop illuminating, but we need vessels that are fit to receive. Therefore there are two discernments we need to make in what depends on man's preparation, since there are two forces in man, one forces of reception, two forces of bestow. We need to correct these two Forces so they work in order to bestow. Force of bestow in a person is called man, and the force of reception in a person is called woman. Female inseminating means that a person makes an effort in order to obtain something. For example, when a person needs wheat, he SWS wheat. This means that his work will yield wheat. If he needs potatoes, he will SE potatoes. That is, one exerts according to the kind that one wants, and this is what he gets. It is similar in the work of the Creator. If one wants to correct the vessels of bio called male, man, which is called if man inseminatis, first, meaning that his initial thoughts is to correct the vessels of B. Then she delivers a female, as it is known that there's an inverse relation between vessels and light, since female light is called the woman inseminatis, first, meaning that he wants to correct the vessels of reception so they will work in order to bestow. Then she delivers a son, meaning male light, which is the light awful, and the Creator gives the soul. The Creator distinguishes about the J, meaning about man's work, of which type was his sowing, meaning preparation. That is, if he wants vessels of reception to work in order to bestow, then the Creator gives him a soul of a male called soul awful. If he is regarded as a man, meaning wants only his vessels of bestow to work in order to bestow, he receives from the Creator the light of called female. Please K. Yes. Yes, advice he gives in this article and many other articles to compare when he's in a descent to remember the ascent, and from that tap to create a deficiency or a demand. So that tip isn't clear, how do you perform that? Think, try to do it and see, is did you have a new deficiency born out of this or not? Why is it irrational? 'Cause when you're in a descent, the vessels of reception grow, so a person is inspired by pleasures in order to receive. How can I then remember that I enjoyed bestow and my ascent and say, wow, 'cause now I'm entirely in pleasures to receive? So how in a time of a descent I can pray for a time of a bestow? In what way do you get that inspiration? As a feeling, as because then you remember what thing you had in vessels of bestow. Next, should I remember it when it will come? Yes. Questions, if I may. First of all, how does he know to begin with if he can aim to bestow in order to bestow, or to receive in order to bestow? According to his vessels, according to the situation, according to the opportunity. But he writes that his Father brings the wholeness, and according to the wholeness and importance he attains, then he can awaken the deficiency of the vessels and reception and correct them. Yes. So before he attained those vessels of wholeness, he can't know. But what does he pray for? He prays for the vessel that he attained through the mother, through the deficiencies that he's still not whole yet, and he feels the gap between him and the Creator. Is this enough for him? It's the greatest prayer he could give. What can you give beyond that? So the question is how to begin with. Does he know whether to aim to bestow in order to bestow, or to receive in order to bestow, to correct the vessels reception? According to the vessels he has to receive in order to bestow is a very high degree. Yeah, it's a light of good loot. Maybe we get there, but so maybe a different question from a state of wholeness. The Father gives the white to the state of a deficiency. The mother gives their red. When does he know that he reached a maximum wholeness, maximum importance that he could awaken in order to start awakening deficiencies? When he comes to the midline, when he can relate to the ABA and I am a father and mother to do their common work, their joint work. Thank you, the same people again. Yes. No. Well, I always thought there's a slow development between and, but it seems in The article that we choose this or that, according to our deficiencies. Can you explain that we don't really choose the create a chooses we need to do our actions? Actions Kavna. Asking if you could explain what the three souls in a person means so of and the three shells of impurity. Yes, well, this is what there is in a person to explain. No, I can't. When it opens to a person, he begins to discover it, to organize it, to understand, to feel. Can, yes, any state that come to a person, he can actually relate to the type of correction he can do, or something happens and a person can see it as if he's correcting the vessels of the store, or to correct the vessels of reception in that opportunity. I don't really understand. Let's say a pleasure comes to a person and he feels that he's about to receive that pleasure, so he already corrects vessels of reception because he realizes that he's drawing pleasure to himself. But if he doesn't recognize pleasure, let's say something bad happens to a person. I'm just giving an example. If something bad happens to a person, he can't correct the vessels of reception. They're only to bestow upon that state to the Creator, to be in connection with him. Yes, what's the actual difference between vessels of V and vessels of reception? Is it a person's attitude towards that state? Yes, man in between, in the middle. He seemingly determines, and from the state that he works on vessels of bestow, how can he go to work on vessels of reception? Or should it not be one after the other? But when it's a different state that isn't connected, meaning if at a certain moment he corrects vessels OFO and corrected them, so now I can go and correct vessels of reception of that same state, or is it disconnected? This usually does not happen, so this or that, that's what I can take care of. Can, yes. Where does the Creator get the contentment and the three partners are only Malav heavens? From any state there is contentment to the Creator, because through each and every state a person advances to wholeness. Okay, yeah. Yes, the last 6-7 sentences are very twisted. If the woman inseminates first, meaning that he wants the correct vessels of reception so they will work in order to bow, then she delivers a son. So if there's a desire to receive, and that whole part is kind of twisted and not clear. Don't give us your impression, but read what you're asking about. I'll keep reading. Meaning a male light, which is the light of G, and the Creator gives to the soul. Creator distinguishes about the drive, meaning about man, work of which type he was. Se is sowing, meaning preparation, that is if he wants vessels of reception to work in order to bestow. The Creator gives him a soul of a male, called if he is regarded as man, meaning he wants only his vessels of bestow to be in order to bow. He receives from the Creator light of called female. If you could explain that part, it'll be great. When does the Creator give him a soul of a male, and when does it give him a soul of a female? Answer: it seems exactly opposite. Okay, does anyone understand what he's asking? Tell us. It's the opposite value of lights and vessels. The moment there's a light of, he gets a vessel. Be still. F, and if he gets a deficiency, that he has enough force to draw, so he gets a bigger vessel of a male. Yes, in Moscow, the 70 nations of the world, is that the contradiction that we build a vessel from first, it's not revealed, then we start bestowing with it. I don't know, we don't give anything to anyone, but that vessel appears through the contradictions. How's that vessel built? After we have work with one another, with connection with each other, whether it's impersonal, individual, or depending on what kind of soul. General. We learned a little while ago that when We connect to the emptiness and darkness. On that degree he's talking in order to bestow in the female part that hasn't been revealed yet, and the state that we build becomes a source for inner light. The darkness that has been revealed where the five senses don't support it. Yes, you could put it this Wager. Woman German 8. Women of what does it mean that the deficiency depends on the creator feel the quality of bestow upon a deficiency? Exactly, the deficiency is revealed on the background of the creator, of the revelation of the creator. Okay, hello the love. The question is about the creator giving the drop when man wants to bestow and the woman wants to receive, because we still haven't come closer to him. This is where we need a little bit of patience, and we'll begin to see how it operates on us. From this we understand. Pity. Good morning, friends. He says that according to the importance he acquires and the working of the Hess, he will then have a place to feel a deficiency on behalf of his work that isn't in true purity. It's like a paradox, because you said after the first time we read, I see that you're not paying attention to what's happening here. You don't really have. Let's read it again. Supposedly we're lacking importance. How do we reach more importance? Why aren't we all concentrated the first time we read? Why did we need to read it again? Because the creator didn't want it. What does that mean? The creator doesn't want us to have a real complete perception. Why does that happen? So we would ask of him, look at the paradox that it's supposedly we're not working with the right intention. We don't have enough importance. That's what he means. Yes. So how do we get that extra importance connection between us and a prayer? I see. Thank you, women. In the last paragraph it says that the creator distinguishes about the drop, meaning about man's work. Of which type? His sowing, meaning preparation. Yes, what does that mean in the 10? That he thinks about correcting vessels of. So again the question, what does it mean in the 10? In the work between us, that the beginning of his thought is to correct vessels. Opho, in the beginning we correct the vessels of bestow, and afterwards the vessels of reception to receive, in order to bestow. The distinguishing between the two is that correcting the vessels of reception in order to bestow. There's more work of annulment there. Yes, sir. Okay. What's with you? Good morning. It's a great article, and there's questions about it, so with your permission I'll read a paragraph and then ask in it. Says that said, when we learn that the creator determines about the drop, whether it's male or female, you say that the woman innates first and gives birth to a male. That's why you don't need the decree of the creature. He said, of course, the creator distinguishes between a drop of a male and a female. Since he distinguished it, he decided if it's going to be male or female. So my question is, we're actually getting into the level of intentions that even before the embryo was created in the 10, in the mutual work to reach stole here, the creator already knows what that drop is about to be, whether male or female. Yes, how does that happen? On the level of intentions, not in the 40 days of conception. I don't know. We getting into the conception, impregnation, 40 days of course. The creator knows in advance. For him the beginning and end of creation are the same. So from here we can understand that the 10 can attain something even before they connect as one man with one heart. The 10, I don't know. In the 10 we don't know. Let's research and see where we can be ourselves. Okay, what are we doing next? We can go to T or the. Let's vote. Who's in favor of Tess? Who's in favor of food? I would say it's almost even. Okay, let's read the, because we're soon finishing. Let's sing a Song. For lo 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 lo. Lo 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 lo. Lay. For lo lo la. Lo 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 lo. Lo 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 lo. La. We are reading in the writings of Famna. Article the mutual guarantee item. 21 item. 21 These are the words of the son of Shimon, who said that the world is judged by its majority. He was referring to the role of the Israeli nation qualified the world for a certain measure of purity until they are worthy of taking upon themselves his work. No less than Israel were worthy at the time they received the Torah. In the words of our sages, it is considered that they had attained enough virtues to overcome the side of sin, which is the filthy self-love. Clearly, if the side of merit, which is the sublime attainment of the benefit of loving others, transcends the filthy side of sin, they become qualified for the decision and the agreement to say we will do and we will hear, as Israel said before they obtain sufficient merit's self-love will certainly prevail, and they will refuse to assume his burden. Sages said, he who performs one mitzvah commandment is happy, for he is sentenced himself and the whole world to the side of merit. This means that an individual from Israel finally adds his own part to the final decision, as one who weighs sesame seeds and adds them one by one to the scale until the balance shifts. Certainly everyone takes part in this shifting, for without him the sentencing would never be completed. Similarly, it is said about the acts of an individual from Israel that he sentences the whole world to the side of merit. This is because when the matter ends and the whole world has been sentenced to the side of merit, each and everyone will have a share in this shifting, or were it not for his actions the shifting would have been deficient. You find that Rabbi son of Rabbi Shimon does not dispute the words of our ages that all of Israel are responsible for one another. Rather, the son of Rim speaks of the correction of the whole world in the future, whereas our sages speak of the present, when only Israel have taken upon themselves the Torah questions. Yes, he's speaking about the role of the Israeli nation here to qualify the world for a certain measure of purity. Now we say that the Israeli nation is not in corporality, it's people who follow the straight to the Creator, the group that's going for the Creator still. Assuming it did its work, this nation, why would the rest of the world make the leap as well? How will it happen to them, since part of humanity called the Israeli nation are doing it? It awakens all of humanity to also reach that determination. So those several thousand people who are studying today, if they do this, the world will already necessarily follow them. That's what he writes. More or less, I don't know if it's a few thousands or it should be more in this generation or the next one, but that's what it sounds like. In the second paragraph it says it is clear that if the side of merit, which is the sublime understanding of the quality of love of others, transcends and rises above the filthy scale of sin, they become qualified for their attainment and to say, we will do and we will hear ya. So there is a condition here that first of all there has to be a full scale of merits. There are a lot of conditions. He doesn't write about all of them, but we need to understand that there has to be a general agreement, more or less, and a preparation on behalf of that nation somehow, and that'll change the balance in the world. Yeah, but he says here explicitly, as you said, that there are conditions. So the condition is that if the side of Mary is full, we can say we will do and we will. Here before that we can't see it. I don't know what to say to agree. I think that whatever our mind won't do, time one take care of that. We're coming close to a state that Eventually, humanity will start understanding that there's no choice and we must demand the complete correction we come to have to meet this condition, to have this agreement to really do in. Here we'll do, and then we'll see how we get to it, yes or no. Maybe we'll fall from it and agree again and come closer to one another again. So doing is act of connection between us above everything. Yes, thank you. To continue this exert, he ends by saying, they became qualified, fit to receive and to say, we will do it and we will hear as Israel said. So he's talking about the world itself. Is there a difference between the work of Israel as opposed to the nations of the world in terms of this love of others as some sort of a distinguishment, different work? He's talking about the nations of the world here, how they're supposed to follow Israel, yeah, and then he says that the side of merit is to reach love of others, and then they'll be able to say like Israel, we will do and we will hear ya. But we know that Israel's work is different, is to love your neighbor as yourself, which is more kind of than to love others. There's a difference here. The question is how from love, what love of what is love of others that the world has to reach. That's the question that we imagine to ourselves, that the future of humanity is to be as one man with one heart and one desire, and that we need to make efforts to reach it. Can I ask something about dissemination in this regard? We see today that outside everyone is talking about talking about loving others, loving the different, but in each of these groups they all have their own kind of love. They kind of want to force the love that they love to make other people love the way I do. Yeah, so how do we come to a state where we bring the whole world, that's call it, to that fine tuning of as one man with one heart? Is that precisely enough? I don't know. That's what that reforms we need to do, what we're supposed to, and to expect that the Creator will do what depends on him. Okay, thank you. Given that every person has a point in the heart, what does it mean? The Israel, what's the difference between this part and that part if everyone has a point in the heart? I don't know what to tell you. Obviously, eventually every heart has a point in the heart that is connected to the Creator, that he actually creates and establish those states. But I don't know what to say. Eventually all of humanity, as it's written, they will all know me from small to great, and my home will be a house of prayer for all the nations. So I guess for everybody, but there's a difference of what comes first and what comes afterwards. It is written more that Israel will spread all over the world. Yes, so what does it mean that first the Israeli nation, I mean either it's supposed to spread in everyone, or there is some sort of a gradations, or there are no gradations? Yeah, it's a gradation, of course. It's written in a lot of places. So what does it mean, the Israeli nation first? That first the Israeli nation has to realize it, and then it'll spread. That comes from the central point of reality, the sons of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. I'm trying to grasp what is this gradation where first you have Israel and then you have the nations of the world that it spreads to them. That to begin with, it's not a matter of something amorphic that everyone has the same thing, but there is a difference from the center and the sides, let's say, towards all the nations of the world. This group called Israel got such a name because they have the will to receive that yearns more to connect and adhere to the Creator. So when we speak spiritually in the spiritual sense, it's clear what it means that first of all Israel receives correction, then it spreads to the rest of their desires of a person. Yeah, but when we speak about our world and we're trying to depict how will happen gradually, because we're working with people, with individuals, so it's not clear if he a person is the nations of the world or Israel or any person in the world. So in corporality it's not clear how it will all take shape. I don't know, but as it's written in the Torah it's pretty clear how it was in our fathers and the sons and their whole turn around they did. And you're asking about a connection between corporality and spirituality. Yes, because when we disseminate and try to think how who we are as opposed to the rest of the people, yeah, so the problem awakens here, specifically because everyone has a point in the heart. Ostensibly Israel is a spiritual matter and can happen in anyone, but when I look at a person I don't know, I can't say if I should relate to him in this way or that way, if he's from the Israeli nation or not. So there's a confusion here. Even in the 10, it's the same thing. Each of us has both, and in the whole world there should also be both this and that. I don't know, but whoever comes to study it's because the point of the heart escorts him, because it's already awakened. So can we define that the nation of the world in our world is those people who point and heart awakened and they're searching? Yes, thank you. China request about in increasing faith. When someone looks at himself and sees himself so small compared to the rest of the world, and still each one who performs a commandment determines the merit of the whole world. Actually the blows that will come will not come to humanity first, they will come to us. It's also clear. So how can we increase the faith that each one, every act matters? And how do we increase the fear? How do we maintain the sensation we have right now? After the read what they are, 2 articles that we need to explain to everyone what you need to do there. How do we strengthen each other in this feeling that's also written in many places? This is the most important for us right now. Just I want, before you ask next time, think what you're asking about. Is there an innovation that we need to scrutinize? Here the question was how to increase the faith. Okay, that's it. Can yes, thank you very much. What is our perspective if we are in the beginning of the last generation? Through our correction can we also reach end of the last generation to the complete correction? I guess so. Then let's keep going. Item 22, and this is what Son of Rimmon quotes from the writings: one sinner destroys much good. It has already been explained in item 20 at the impression that comes to a person when engaging in myth commandments between man and the Creator is completely the same as the impression he gets when engaging in myth between man and man is obliged to perform all the for her sake without any hope for self-love, meaning that no light or hope returns to him through his trouble in the form of reward or honor, etc. At this exalted point, the love of the Creator and the love of his friend unite and act, become one, as said in the article. In this manner one affects a certain measure of advancement on the ladder of love of others in all the people in the world in general, since that degree which that individual caused by his actions, whether large or small, ultimately joins the future in shifting the world to the side of merit, since his share has been added and joins the shift, is written in item 20 in the allegory about the seeds. One who commits one sin, meaning he cannot overcome and conquer his filthy self-love and therefore steals or does something of the sort, sentences himself and the whole world to the side of sin. This is because with the disclosure of the filth of self-love the lowly nature of creation is reinforced. Thus he takes away a certain amount from the sentencing to the final side of merit, like a person removing the Scale. That removing from the scale that single sesame seed his friend had put. Death to that extent slightly elevates the side of sin. Turns out that he regresses the world. As they said, one sinner destroys much good because he could not overcome his petty lust. He pushed the spirituality of the whole world backwards. Questions. Nice, it's clear, okay. And what is the weight of a person's labor in order to achieve the or achieve LMA, and what is the weight of the society that should give him at mutual guarantee in order to obtain Lishma the goal? And what ears do you weigh? It's 600 times more. On the one hand, he says everything depends on the sesame se that each individual places. On the other hand, there's a connection between all the people who are in this process. So where one can place a seed and the other one can remove it, that seed, if you can. There is even such a thing. It's clear that there is reciprocity here between the individual in the society. The main thing is, like you're saying, the mutuality, that we have to reach a state that only in that mutual support we can keep the law of the on the one hand. On the other hand, person should say everything depends on me. I have to place the seed, the sesame, okay, but that doesn't mean anything. When does my sesame reach the plate, the scale on the scales, and join only when everybody accepts this vessel and try put their sesame on it. What should a person's attention mainly be on? His own personal labor or and connection with everyone? What is this matter of connection? All their exertion will support one another until everyone connects and will ascend to 1 degree, 1 heart, 1 man, with 1 heart, 1 plate. So should a person take the matter of common labor here into account? How does he do it if he himself places his part? How does he still take into consideration? I don't think he can put his part without pulling everybody into this. So it's a person's role to pull everyone toward it. Yes. Is that called placing the seed? Yes. What does it mean to pull everyone? That's called to pull everyone, to make them also place their seeds to advance toward the same goal. Otherwise, what's the benefit? Thank you. Again, in work in the 10 there are 3 states. The first state is that we all feel those states as sense and distance. The second state is when I feel the 10 is in an ascent and I'm in a descent. And the third state is and I feel that I'm in an ascent and they are in descent. So in the third state, when we are in mutual responsibility, should a person protect himself from the influence of the I and I feel like the 10 is weakening. How do I work? Because there are states when you become incorporated and it puts you down. How do we protect ourselves against the influence of the 10 in such a case? I think that the work to begin with has to be in the group, when we all awaken each other and hold on to one another, and in this way we advance together. And if you feel that you're being pulled down, that you are in some moment of, then you know that if you disconnect from them, even though they're in a worse state of what you thought, you still being disconnected from them, you lose contact, you lose forces, and then it's not worth it for UKGS. Then is there even such a state where a person looks and sees that his turn is ruining it for him, taking him backwards? There are some that complain. I'm sure there are persons. Work should be this the 10 or this the creator. In terms of how I see the state's main thing is before the 10. So what does a person do if, let's say, I look at the 10, I see that there is a seat of clown scornful? What do we do then if you look at the 10 and decide that it's the seat of the scornful of the clowns, and you toss them away and keep going alone? That's a Problem, so the question is, when I see this and I know that it's wrong, my perception is wrong, what is the work with it? In look all kinds of places what a person needs to do as much as he needs to lower himself and pray that the Creator will help him. That's a problem. Okay, more questions. Wow, look at all this. Okay, Bola, tell me, please, can it be said, or can we think that if we correct ourselves, the more we unite, the more we balance what happens around us in the corporal world? Yes, thank you. We are worried. We want to know how to see and accept the full volume of our work, all the sesame seeds of the friends, and turn them into one prayer. It's the third day and we've been following your orders. We gathered our hearts into one basket. We're pressing them together. We want to know what else is missing to reach a real prayer. Reach true prayer means to turn to the Creator, convene him, to beg before him that we see as much as we're connected and dependent on one another. Only he can make the correction in our vessel, so all the separated hearts will connect together and we'll be as one heart. We don't need anything else but that. Ask him for that. What will be the sign of the connection between us, that we've reached it, that we've advanced in the work? You'll feel that you're in one desire towards one goal, in one yearning woman. Turkey 7 4 for friends. We want to come to connection and to build a, but we see it's only words. We learn that it's on us, but we're not taking the responsibility. When does a person come to a point of breaking? So he begins to work as he should. When he reaches the spare, when he sees that he cannot reach it on his own, and also the friends, with all due respect, can't help him, but only the Creator himself. He connects them and then they can reach that state where we're all connected. Okay, how can we balance all influences of our environment in a way that I don't miss any influence? Only by holding on to the friends, and then when we connect and hug, so it's clear, it's certain that the Creator will also keep us, guard us, and in that way we won't miss anything of the connection. Latin 13. Yes, to feel at the center of creation is this, when we have mutual responsibility in the 10. So when we attain mutual responsibility in the 10, we'll feel the center of creation. When we attain our vot in the 10, we will feel. Yes, that is what is worth for us to do. 1. It's written here that by this he awakens to a certain extent of advancement on the ladder of love of others. By that advances the whole world. How do we make people feel that measure of love of others? It depends on the measure of connection and our effort. If I know I'm as one adhesion, also yearning for connection, then we work in that way together, and it will really be like that. How is it transferred to the whole world? Will they be able to feel it, their desires, their thoughts? It all starts changing, but what channels does it transfer from us to them? Or we work in the time we don't tell them anything, and then they'll suddenly feel. That's what the Creator does. That's what the Creator does. Main thing is not to reach despair more and more, another day and another day, till it comes to woman German. 8. Woman German. Yesterday we learned that we correct only the part of the desires that are in me according to the root of my soul. Can we say that this is my warts, my responsibility toward the friends? Yeah, how do I relate to these parts within me that others should correct? Or maybe I don't have any connection to them to the extent that you want to correct the others from within you, to hold them into that extent. You force everybody in the world also to check that direction. That's called to Determine. That's how it is, that's it. Myers I'll be. Healthy Gad is going to tell us what else we have today. Yes, so thank you all, thank you. World CLER broadcast today Sunday at 10:40, facing the future at 12 the afternoon, lesson at 5:30, reading the study of the 10, and at 6:30 building a spiritual society. Now notice the update on time. From 7:30 to 8 reading the Z, and we'll end with this song in the shadows, surging the Esther. Break freedom chain of the mind beneath the surface, deep in the heart there's a melody to guide us all. Broken pieces piercing the skin, tea and voices lost in the wind, through the fire starting to rise to a world that's waiting in your eyes. 2 drops of unity to a place above them, many every in harmony, they're one heart we going to sing together. That's what